sound in sync with me.
Well, boo. Well, you know what? Hello, and welcome to issue 615 of Geek in the City Radio. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Duran.
I am one of your other hosts, Narita.
And I am your other host, Cable Hajitani.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
Hello. I stabbed myself in the eye right before the show started, so I had to put my contacts in.
That seems like
tight.
Seems like a strange thing to do, but you know, it's a weird.
I mean,
flex.
it wasn't by choice. You know, these things just happen.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well, they do if you're a person who puts mascara on sometimes.
Mm.
And my mascara wand happens to be very sharp and stabby.
I think of all of the makeups that I've ever applied, I don't think I've ever worn mascara.
Best product, unless you're like really going out of your way to find like the good kind, because it's a really waxy product and getting it on and taking it off is actually more damaging to your eyelashes than if you were to just leave them be.
Yeah, okay. I had that split second where I'm like, wait, am I thinking of something else? Is mascara not the thing that goes on your eyelashes? But it is. Okay.
No, you're good. And sometimes you stab yourself in the eye. And for those who do not have like a lot of knowledge from eyeball medical people, if you ever stab yourself in the eye and it's like really tender, wear your contacts instead of your glasses, and it's basically a little bandage to protect your eye.
Or don't stab yourself in the eye.
Again, not on purpose.
Oh.
I mean,
Mascara is the one thing I will never need because my eyelashes are luscious and perfect.
Well, some of us aren't quite so lucky. So
that's true. I make up for it with crippling self-doubt.
Oh, see, and I don't have that.
That's a horrible trade-off.
I have I'm like this far away from having, you know, just like the confidence of a mediocre white man.
That's a powerful confidence.
That's a lot of confidence.
I think it's an unmerited amount of confidence, you guys.
It is. That's like Matt Peterson level of confidence. That's a 1% joke for old Emerson listeners that are tuning in.
All right.
Yep. I had to throw him a bone every once in a while.
I think it's going well though. I think it's working well for me, you know.
It's good. How was everyone's weekend? We're killing. Well, I feel like we're not killing time. We have a guest coming on around 7. Gwen Callahan of the HP Lovecraft Film Festival. Spooky, and I'm so excited because we're going to be there.
We're on the cusp of spooky season.
like intense, because August 1st is when I start to feel the pull beyond the normal.
Sure.
Pull, you know.
Do you also get that initial ping back in April where it's like 6 months?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ping. 6 months. 6 months to what? Nothing.
Especially anyone who is friends with Edalyn, because she will just start.
Countdown starts at 100.
And at landmark days, you know, like 200 days, 150, and then then it's the countdown from from triple digits to double digits. Yeah.
Yep. And I believe everyone in this crew is part of the. If I'm thinking about my Halloween costume in August, I'm already too late.
That's not true. I only just started working on costumes today.
Yeah, you're too late. I mean, usually that's one of those things that I've thought about and prepared for and started planning in July.
Well, I'm unemployed, so I have like twice as much time as everybody else.
Fair. That's fair.
And I am notoriously bad at preparing a costume. Like I'll run around with ideas, but then I think I'm just gonna kind of cheat this year and just go as Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows. I just need a slightly longer black hair wig. And then I've got the right kind of like froofy Victorian goth clothing that I can pull that off.
Laszlo and not Nandor.
No, not Nandor, because I like doing Matt Berry's voice more.
Let's hear your Matt Berry voice.
I can't do it under pressure now. Now it's too much.
Okay.
I have to be.
Oh my God. Speaking of doing Matt Berry voice, so I'm still only 2 episodes in this season of What We Do in the Shadows.
The season, the current season.
The current season.
Okay.
But that was the episode that had Nandor. The actor did impressions of Colin Robinson, Laszlo, and then Guillermo. Holy fuck, that was the funniest thing ever.
So good.
There was one point where
I almost
it was so good, I thought it might be a dub.
Yeah, I did too when it was Colin Robinson.
His Laszlo voice is probably, quote, the worst of the three, and now I kind of wonder if he does that on purpose as a caricature of Matt Berry / Laszlo.
A little bit. Like, you could tell it, like, that's when I knew it's like, oh wait, no, that's the actor doing Matt Berry. But while the voice wasn't quite there, all of his mannerisms were perfect. Like, everything sold.
Yeah.
I think his best one was Guillermo.
It was really good.
Because it was so locked in and so tight. Just so tightly wound, the same way that Guillermo is all the time. Poor Guillermo.
This most recent one is, I mean, they've all been great, but this most recent one is, I think this is the season, because, you know, they always build up to a moment like halfway through, and then it has to pay off the rest of the way.
Yep.
I think this is the episode where they've hit that moment, and now they're all going to start paying off. Like, I'm willing to bet by next episode, we're going to see who's ever behind that door, like the Master, the first vampire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I also am a big fan of the addition of Kristen Schaal to the cast.
It's so great.
She's great in anything. Like, if she's involved, I will watch it, even if I don't think I'm going to enjoy it, generally speaking.
Yeah. I fell in love with her during the second season.
Yeah,
when the first season.
She was in first season.
Yeah. Was she?
Watch your step here. I don't have to. I glide.
Oh, from when they had to go before the council.
No, it's just a freaky long hallway. But I think my best line of her in that episode is when Guillermo goes to grab the torch. She's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm warming my hands." "Well, it's an LED torch. If we had real fire down here, the fire marshal would have a fit."
Oh, god damn, that was funny. That was the line that every haunter went, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The fire marshal. We love him and we hate him.
Spoilers of Halloween fun. What's the point of being scared if there isn't a chance to be set on fire?
Yeah, it makes me feel bad for the city of Vancouver. Vancouver, get yourself a new fire marshal.
I know, it's like a fire marshal for the town in Footloose. So
I discovered, and this is kind of teasing what we did over the weekend and who we're going to have on next week when we were out at hour to midnight over the weekend. I had been talking with Tom and Ed, and Tom was telling me about the fact that there are no haunts in Vancouver. Like, there's the Scaregrounds out at the Washington Fairgrounds, but even like a lot of the people that work there have been moving their haunts out of the area, and that is because the fire marshal for the city of Vancouver hates haunts. He hates them and doesn't want them anywhere in the city at all, ever.
Yeah, it's just about hate and fun,
which is really weird because we get a lot of people coming over the river from Vancouver to go to Portland haunts. They really want to be scared. So that's fine. More money for Portland.
Yeah, sure. Take it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was sneezing and I think I missed the part where you explained why he hates them.
I don't know why. He just does.
And
because of that, like, he's apparently, according to Tom, he has straight up told a haunter, it's like, we don't want you here.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's the person who's moving from the Scaregrounds to Oaks Park.
And yet he won't chase out Nazis or Proud Boys from Vancouver. I wonder why that is.
Interesting.
Because they're Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if anyone with badges aren't arresting Proud Boys and Nazis, it's because they're also Proud Boys and Nazis.
Or they're not arresting them
Yeah.
because they're there on their day off, being a Proud Boy.
Right, right.
The same reason why you never see Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same place at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I think that's the most
Except you do
concise way
because of
that you
Dick
can
Grayson.
explain that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I want to respond to something that Sack just put in the chat. The Cryptozoo. This is not the first time I have heard about the Cryptozoo being awesome. It's up in St. John's. It is not a haunt. It is just the zoo of cryptological oddities. So check it out if you're a Portlander. Please wear a mask. Please be vaccinated.
Yeah. I will say.
I've not heard of this place. Does it ever gone by any other name?
I think it's new. It just popped up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I know that there's
Oregon Live actually had a good write-up of all the spooky things happening in October in the metro area.
Yay.
And it's weird to say Oregon Live had a good write-up about whatever, but
Oh, Oregon Live is the Oregonian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say no. I was thinking about one of the morning news programs, and
they're
pretty okay.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that all of them seem to be owned by the same news conglomerate, so that they have to read conservative script. But
all Sinclair.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If a person says they hate haunts, that person is A, religious, or B, had cut and made fun of for peeing their pants. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the the average person who just does not like to be frightened. But I assume in this context we're talking about like someone like this fire commissioner who is preventing other people from having the fun.
There is, so with haunts, it does have a history of Halloween and haunted houses get the rap of they're satanic. And if you are if you grew up in modern Christianity, which is not Christianity,
Correct.
Current American Christianity thinks that almost everything is satanic or evil. I honestly believe that American Christians believe more in Satan and hell than they do God.
Oh, they do. Like modern evangelicals are more obsessed with Satan and gay sex than my gay Satanist.
Than all the good things that one should be focused on as a religious person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost hurt myself trying not to laugh over cable. Sack says that getting made fun of for peeing in your pants because of a haunted house is called the trouser baptismal.
That's good.
Sack, you're a monster. But you're our monster.
I should mention, as a person who's worked in a haunt where people have peed their pants, that is not the bragging right that monsters would think, or you would think that haunt monsters would have, largely because you have to pull everyone out of the haunt. You have to have custodians clean everything up. It's a bodily fluid, so it is treated as hazardous waste.
Right.
Yeah,
everything has to stop.
I think it was a few years ago. It might have been the last time we actually were able to take the show, like interview Hellfree while walking through the haunt during the daytime. And I think one of us asked, what's the badge of honor? Like making a guest pee themselves from being scared? He's like, no, actually, that is awful. Please, no, that's horrible when that happens. And here's why. And it's everything Cable just said.
Yep.
He's like, it shuts us down basically for an hour.
I think he still has the bragging rights for the best scare of all of Fright Town. And he said he watched this group come in. I'm going to use some of his description. He said it was clearly a queen bitch and 12 of her friends, male and female, but she was clearly in charge. Everybody looked like that they had taken all of their fashion cues from Jersey Shore.
Oh my.
And it was nothing but attitude. They were all attitude. They paid for their tickets, got to the center between the haunts. We're trying to looking at the haunts, trying to figure things out. Dave comes over and starts doing his Baron gig, and they're like clearly unimpressed. She looks him up and down, goes, "Yo, are there clowns in there?" And he's like, "Oh yes, yes, all the clowns you could ever want." She's like, "We out," and they all left. They didn't go through a single haunt. All he said was, "Yes, we have clowns," and they went, "Oh fuck this," and left after paying their money. They didn't ask for anything back. They just went, "No, fuck this, we're out."
Like a poor way to go through life.
But it, like, for all their bravado, like, it was perfect. Dave was like, I win Halloween. I just scared people and didn't do a goddamn thing.
That is still so awesome.
Yep.
My favorite haunt experience to this day has been playing a clown in the museum. Was Team Honk Honk.
Yep, I was just reminiscing with Matt Grigsby about that yesterday on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorite haunt memories. Was the four of you filling in the clown room?
We were disgusting.
Oh yeah, you were great.
We all leaned into, like, you know what? If we get sweaty, even better, and gross.
It was
and
you.
We like lick our lips.
Mm-hmm. Jesse and Ryan, and you leaned into it hard.
Oh yeah.
I still cannot hear London Bridges falling down without thinking of the four of you as clowns.
Oh, that's right. It was great. We just started singing it like off key.
Yep.
Like, I made sure I had like a little bit of mucus in the back of my throat as I sang it.
Yeah, I could hear them in the main hall, and the clown room is far removed from the main hall.
It was so much fun.
Yep. No thanks.
That was also the night that I knew Greg Nibbler and Sarah Dillon were coming through. And I think Dave told me, he's like, "They're here." So I told everyone their names, all of it. I gave them like every little like tidbit they could. So we just tormented those two. It was fantastic.
Yep.
My favorite is still the very, very first time I did a haunt, and I was right up next to the head of Orbis. So it's supposed to be like a double whammy, because I had a box slam gig, and someone was already like peak fear. They're coming up on the very end of this haunt, and they're like rushing. They're rushing, almost running, and then the head of Orbis comes out. And they like freak out and start to double back. And then I, pop out of the box slam, and now they have to turn back around the way they came, and they have to get around the head. So they didn't duck walk out of the room. They duck ran out of the room, just like screaming and running and crouching. And it was just so satisfying.
For our listeners who have never attended Fright Town, the head of Orbis is a puppet, and saying puppet like gives you, it's like, oh, who's scared of a puppet? Like, it is a head the size of a person. It is approximately 3.5 feet tall by about 5 feet long, and it is a horse skull done up with musculature and teeth, and it looks horrifying, and it's operated on this big swinging boom. It has counterbalances and weights, but it's in a dark portion, and so you just think it's a cave, and the operator just pops out with it and hits the buttons, which turns on its eyes. It makes this roaring sound, and it is so much fun to watch people lose their shit. We had a giant alligator head that did the same thing that the Pirates got to work with the year that PDX Yar.
I've operated that alligator.
Yep.
The alligator, though, is not as glorious. It has the same effect, but the alligator head versus the Orbis head, that thing is just artistry.
Mm-hmm. The alligator head, I think, worked better in its original room. The original room for the alligator head was a doctor's waiting office at the end of the museum that was perfectly normal. Like white walls, bright fluorescent lights, posters on the wall, chairs, a sofa, magazines. Everything in it looks normal, including the wall that actually splits in half and allows the gator head to come through. And we watched so much video of people reacting to this because they would lean against that wall because they thought whatever was going to jump out at them was clearly near the door or near any of the posters. It's like, oh no, those posters aren't real. It's going to be dropped down. So they would stand there with their back to the wall that suddenly opens and this gator head comes out.
That's mean. That's mean, and I love it.
Yep. And then they just run screaming right out the front door or right out the door. It's so glorious.
I think one of my other favorite gags in the museum, and he only had it for a couple years, was the Boo Room. It was a room where he just made a bunch of like classic ghosts, like sheets and like black eyes, sheet ghosts. And like he puts me in that room because he's showing me around and he's like, look at this room. And I was like, this is unsettling. I said, what happens? And he leads in, he goes, nothing.
Yep.
Nothing happens at all. He says, but no one wants to come in here. I said, yeah. He says, because you think one of them are going to jump. I'm like, is it one? He's like, no.
Yep.
He's like, I've watched people like break down in tears in the middle of this room because they're waiting for it. He's like, and then at the end, when they cross the room, they take a deep breath. Then I get them in a different room.
Yep.
I would be particularly bothered by a room like that because once I have been given some frighten, my fear defense mechanism is to be like hyper prepared. And so Aaron has seen this and he makes fun of me. I'll come around corners and down hallways like I'm clearing a room. Yeah. Like I'm doing tactical operations. I'm like, no one's gonna fucking sneak up on me because I'm gonna like, because I'm clearing the room as I come in. Right. And I'm like super vigilant. I'm like, if I see them coming, they can't scare me. And so when nothing happens, I'm just gonna like get more and more expectant. I absolutely see how that works. That's mean. It's mean, and I love it.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to ever sound like I'm shitting on any of the other haunts in Portland because the people that do haunts in Portland, like they couldn't do anything last year. So last year was awful. Right. And there are some that are trying to go ahead and move forward and do haunts this year. I know that there's one that I'm planning on going to, which is why do I keep forgetting the name of this haunt? The Manor.
The one that's like in rural.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
Yeah.
It's the one where like the guy employs high school drama kids, and the money goes back to those programs.
Goes back to those drama clubs.
Yeah.
It's great. It's out on a farm. I'll look it up before the end of the show and post it. But like, I'm planning on going to that, and I know that they're requiring masks. They're requiring 6 feet distance. I believe they're requiring vaccination records. So we'll see. That's a hell of a thing to try to pull off, even in like suburban rural Oregon.
Yeah.
But if there are haunts that you feel comfortable going to, try, because people are really, really doing their best. I know that the folks that took over the spot at the Memorial Coliseum are doing their haunt. I just never remember their name. I think I keep wanting to call it Underhill, but I think it changed.
It is. It's called The Beneath.
The Beneath. Yeah. They have got the worst gig because they are in the spot that Fright Town made famous. And so everyone goes in expecting Fright Town. And this is where I'm not trying to shit on folks, but Fright Town was not competing with any haunt in Portland ever.
Right.
Fright Town was operating on a level that I have seen theme parks operate on.
Yeah.
And nothing else in Portland is doing that. everything else in Portland is doing a great job with local haunts. They're doing as best they can, and it's fantastic. And Millburn Manor, thank you.
Yeah, I'm putting a lot of the haunts in the chat just for
sweet. Yeah, it's almost like this is our favorite time of year.
I know. What?
But Fright Town was definitely something special. If you saw it while it was going on, God bless you. And
Fright Town was the only haunt in the Pacific Northwest that got a write-up in Rue Morgue magazine.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest were all like LA or some of those Midwest ones, like The Beast, which is a beast, and some of the West Coast or East Coast with stuff.
I've heard some good things about there's a couple haunts in Atlanta and back east stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to when I started going to Universal Studios for the Hollywood Horror Nights. That was when I went, oh, this is what Fright Town was doing. Oh wait, this is what Fright Town was doing. We didn't have any money. How did we do this? Speaking of horror, look who it is.
Hello.
Look who it is.
Hi, Gwen. You're still on mute.
You're on mute. It's Portland's original horror queen.
Hi.
Hello.
That background looks fully appropriate for someone who's about to put on a film festival.
Oh man, I forgot. I was like, oh, is this do people see this video?
Yeah, is that okay?
That's okay. I wasn't sure.
Yes, we are live on Facebook right now.
Okay. I'm like, oh, my
We
hair.
try to give a heads up. I'm sorry we space on you.
I've been on other podcasts before where they do it on Zoom, but then they just broadcast the audio. So I'm like, it doesn't matter what I look like.
Well, you look fantastic.
We do both, and yes, you look great.
We're all using
welcome
filters.
to the internet.
I feel like it's a real Zoom call now that I've seen the cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Claymore.
Has to be one in every Zoom call. It's a law.
I can't sit here without Kat.
Yeah, because they're not paying attention to them. So
Yeah. She's like, my lap. I need a lap in the chair. How am I supposed to take my daytime naps?
How can be? So, Gwen, how have you been?
I've been okay. Like, it's been a weird 2 years.
Yeah.
But we're doing okay. We're still, we're hanging in there and adapting to all the new things and the way of the world, and still trying to put independent film out there for people to see. So we're excited that last year we had to be completely online, and we took Portland Horror online in June. And I think we were the first all horror festival to do it online.
Wow.
And then we did HP Lovecraft Film Festival online again. And we thought, in May, we're like, maybe we'll be back in the theater in October. And then this year, we were able to get back into the theater for Portland Horror and back in the theater for HP Lovecraft Film Festival. But we know that not everyone's ready to be back in person with people in a theater. Even though you're sitting, you have to have your mask on, you're all facing the same way, you're discouraged from talking because it's a theater. To me, it's like one of the safer places you could go in a crowd with people, and it's a little more controlled, I think, because
statistically, I think you're right.
Your seat. You can pick your seat away from people. It's not going to be crowded, so
I was actually about to ask you that. Is this as many? I'm assuming you're not selling as many in-person tickets as
no
pre-COVID years.
We're only on the main screen, and we capped it at 75% so that people could, put a little space between them and other people if they want to. Portland Horror, we noticed that everyone still kind of sat in the middle section, and there's, they left a couple seats between themselves and other people, but there's plenty of room to spread out. High ceilings. The Hollywood has updated their HVAC system, so it's all good, and they are making everyone show that they require proof of vaccination or a recent PCR test.
Nice.
And you have to wear a mask at all times unless you're actively, putting food or drink in your face.
Yeah, and also I expect some creativity on masks at this thing.
I hope so. We've ended at Rose City Comic-Con a couple of weeks ago, and I was amazed at how creative people were with their masks being worked into their costumes, and it made me so happy, because it's just, all of us outsiders, I think, are just used to trying to cram ourselves into like what's normal. And now we have like this another additional way of expressing ourselves.
Right.
Through these.
You mean I can wear my cultist mask and people won't look at me funny anymore?
Exactly.
Awesome.
They just assume that you're worried about getting COVID.
Yeah. And not displeasing the ancient one.
Yeah. And we're still going to have some vendors. We'll have a little vendor pod upstairs, and we're going to have book vendors. There'll be some author signings at their table, and then we've got a full weekend program of feature films and like short films, like over 50 short and feature films. And we
My
don't
favorite.
the short films, the infamous short films. We have some really, really excellent ones this year. There's one from Italy that was started in 1985. They shot a bunch of footage, and then they sent it off to get edited, and then something happened, and they just kind of left the project for a while, and I feel like they lost the footage for a while, and then they rediscovered it in 2010, and then shot some more scenes with the original actor, who is now, at this point 25 years older. And then they finally got it all together and finished it to submit to our festival. So this is
wow.
That's going to be fascinating.
I don't know
watch.
if it's the world premiere. I think it's the world premiere of it. And it's certainly, I think, the first time people will be seeing it on a screen. So it's really fascinating. It took a fascinating journey to get here.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that one.
I need to see that.
And that one's called The Book in the House, which is based on The Picture in the House.
Picture in the House. That was the first Lovecraft short I ever filmed, ever adapted on my own. And it was awful.
Oh.
I think I was like 23 years old when I did it. I went back and watched it. And I was like, this is bad. No wonder they didn't pick it up. This was awful.
They can't
and
all
this
be
is back in
winners.
the day when you had to be really bad for them not to take it.
Yeah.
Again, this was like 19 years ago. So it was bad.
There's sometimes where we get films sometimes where like it's a good idea and the execution of it wasn't terrible, but then they failed on the capturing sound and picture elements where like I want people to see this, but can we really ask our audience to sit through 20 minutes of this poor picture quality and poor sound quality? And usually the answer is no. I'm sorry. Like, very sad, but like you gotta get it's a film, like you gotta get your sound and picture under control.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There are so many elements to making a film, and I think like if you have like, let's just say like you get 4 out of 5, then like that's at least enough to get people to go through the whole thing, even if they're not totally in love with it. But if you are like, there's a threshold, and if you're missing 1 too many elements, then that's just it. Like it could have been like the greatest concept ever thought of, but if it's got bad acting and bad audio, that's it. Like zero chance of it succeeding.
Yeah.
And I think that's the element that I enjoy most about like short film festivals, is seeing like how many of these elements did you get right?
Yeah, definitely. And then this is kind of exciting. So because we kind of polled our audience from past years to see like how many people are actually coming in person this year. And based on that, we decided like, you know what, let's just go with the main theater and like have it kind of back to basics, not all this crazy like 3 tracks and a secondary venue and all this other stuff. Let's just like get back to basics. Let's just enjoy watching films in a theater with other people that like the same things as us. So we're not having that secondary track in person, but we are going to have a handful of live author readings on the stage just before film blocks.
Oh, cool.
6 of those. So we've got John Shirley, Pete Rollick, Molly Tanzer, Andrew Fuller, Wendy Wagner, and Sarah Walker are going to be doing little 10-minute readings.
Oh, Wendy's going to be there. Cool.
Little snippets. And then we will have like the little vendor pod films. And then the next weekend, October 8th to the 10th, we are going to be streaming the festival. So for people who are not comfortable being back in the theater, or for medical reasons can't get vaccinated, or you've got like little kids at home that can't be vaccinated and you don't want to carry something to them, you can watch it online through our Eventive portal, which is hplfilmfestival.eventive.org, and watch all the content online, as well as like 6 extra hours of streaming exclusive content. So we packed a little more in there for streaming, and people who have bought the Kickstarter package through our Kickstarter will automatically have access to that streaming exclusive material. People who buy their 3-day passes through the Hollywood Theater site, there's a link on our festival page to where to buy the streaming exclusives. And it's really not that much for what you get. Like, you get a lot of content. There's like 3 features and like 3 more hours of short films. So it's a lot of good stuff in there.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And I was looking at the lineup this year too. The films all sound really fantastic.
Yeah. There is some really high quality, like, they get better and better every year, and I'm amazed. But since the advent of digital technology and just making those consumer level cameras better, the quality of the films has just gone up and up and up. And
right.
You know, when we talk about independent films, we're talking everything from like a guy shot this on his iPhone, which has a, you know, better camera than my old Sony. Like, I had like one that was like, you know, 2.2 megapixels.
Right.
It's like your iPhone 10 is like way better than that. To people using, you know, Red cameras and Black Magics and like professional grade equipment. So everything in between. And it's really just a matter of what you're trying to do, what kind of lighting you've got, and then what your skill set is in terms of capturing that picture and sound and color correcting and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I'm just
and then something that I think started a few years ago and doing again this year is the Lovecraft Under the Gun also screens that weekend also.
Yes, that'll be Sunday, I think at 5 o'clock. We have it scheduled. We just put out the final film schedule on the website, which is hplff.com, or you can go to hplfilmfestival.com. They go to the same place. And yeah, so the whole schedule's up now. It's easy this year because it's just one track. So it's easy to understand. You don't have to like figure out which theater do I need to be in. But yeah, we have films from all over the world. We have one from Russia. We have one from Belgium. We've got some from Italy. We've got a few German ones. Or was that Portland Horror? I'm sorry, everything blends together.
That's all right.
Bunch from Canada. Canada has a strong showing this year. One from Australia. We've got all the features I think this year are from the US, but they're really interesting. We've got like a good range of feature films. We're going to start off Friday night with the 10th anniversary screening of Whisper in Darkness from the HP Lovecraft Historical Society.
That's cool.
So that was one of the first films we played when we started running the festival, and that made its world premiere in 2011. And they did it kind of like, it's the follow-up to Call of Cthulhu, which was the 1920s silent film. So they did it like a 1930s Universal monster movie style.
It's a lot of fun.
It's great. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And Sean Branney and Andrew Lehman will be with us for a Q&A and for the screening. So that'll be fun. Get to hear about how they went through that whole process of filming it and making it look like a true 1930s film.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
We've got The Yellow Wallpaper, which is of course the adaptation of Charlotte Gilman Perkins' story. And it's kind of it's a period piece, and it's beautifully shot. It is an art film, so if you know what to expect from art films, it's paced, but it's just really, really well done. Really.
And that's Saturday afternoon, right?
That's Saturday afternoon. And then that evening we have The Fall of Usher, which is a sort of a mashup of a bunch of different Poe stories, but it's presented in a way that is it's like the main character kind of starting you off of like, I'm going to tell you a story about this is everything that happened, and you know, I'm a storyteller and a liar by nature, so you kind of know going into it that this is a story, and you're
Nice.
immersed in it, and it's really nicely like weaves in all these threads of Poe elements and themes, and
Yeah.
recognize bits from the tales of Poe.
And for folks who may not be familiar, the Lovecraft Film Festival has always shown 1 or 2 Poe films. Because that was Lovecraft. From what I understand, that was Lovecraft's favorite author. Like that's who he aspired to be, was Poe, basically.
Yeah. So we tend to show mostly, you know, cosmic horror, Lovecraft adaptations or Lovecraftian inspired things. But we also get submissions sometimes for things like King in Yellow kind of stuff, like Robert Chambers style and M.R. James style ghost stories, and we've had in the past Fritz Leiber film last year, The Hill in the Hole, and what else? Other Poe adaptations and things like that that are contemporaries of Lovecraft. Clark Ashton Smith. We had a film in 2019 that was based on Clark Ashton Smith's The Last Incantation. And so we tend to show things for context of like, these are things that Lovecraft would have been reading, or Lovecraft would have corresponded with these people, and so it's kind of all in the circle of Lovecraft in that web.
That's cool. I'm really excited. Looks like on Sundays a screening of The Witch House.
Yeah, so this is a brand new film called HP Lovecraft's Witch House, which is a modern adaptation, and the main character is a woman rather than the usual Walter Gilman. I think her name's Alice Gilman, maybe, but it's a fun watch.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Lovecraft stories, so I'm really excited to see this adaptation of it. It looks really interesting.
And then for people who love the short films, Sunday's the day to be there, because we've got 3 blocks of short films.
Oh, man.
Nice.
We'll be ending with I don't know what we're calling it right now. It's not the what the fuck block, but it's almost, oh, sorry.
That's okay. Nope. On this show,
You're
it's fine.
so fine.
Oh, we work blue. Yeah.
Yeah, you can unload. It doesn't matter.
This is the least amount of swearing that I've done on the show.
I know, yeah.
You're like on your best behavior with the guys. It's kind of like the weirdest, wackiest, like kind of just bonkers films that you're gonna see, and that is not like, nobody should get the impression that they're not good films, because they are really good films, but they're kind of, we decided to group them together because they are just like, there's weird and then there's like apeshit weird, like batshit crazy weird, in the best way possible. So
that is an extremely valid genre of film. Even if so, like my husband is literally right now going through a list of films, and the only thing that they have in common is that they're all a little bit what the fuck, but they all fall into different genres. So they're not all horror. It's just a matter of like how weird they get with it. That is a total niche for people.
So there's there's a queer horror film in there. There's a puppet animated film in there. There's a live action with some animation film in there, and like I don't want to give too much away, but all the descriptions are on the website. So
yeah, I'm looking at the one for like Demon Hunter and Holes, and both of those are going to be messed up.
Yeah,
I'm in the same section, and there's a whole snack, Love Glove. Like, those definitely give me some what the fuck vibes. Just the titles alone.
Awesome.
Love Glove is that was an entry from Guignol Fest from last year.
Cool.
That one's fun. I'm gonna point out that one because I'm a character in it.
Hey,
it gives people the option of using someone's name, and they always pick someone that they know. So the year before, it was like Lonnie Joe from the Clinton Street Theater, and last year they asked me if they could use my name for it, and I was like, yeah, sure.
What an honor.
So cool.
It was really funny. And then to see what it was with it, and then I think they used Brian as a character too in that film, so pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all the different shorts, which are generally my favorite. I mean, the features are always great, but the shorts are always what, definitely keep me coming back like year after year. I love all the different takes and all the different visions and stuff.
I feel like the short films are what have made the film fest stand apart from film fests.
Yeah.
That's what's made it so unique, what's given it its spirit, and what's drawn so many people to it over the years. I know it's always been my favorite part, and it was always a thing that when I went regularly, that's what I would tell everyone. It's like, you have to go for all these short films. It's like, yeah, there's this feature and that feature, but man, these shorts are great. You get to see all of these independent filmmakers just doing whatever they can, just throwing it on film and going for it. Even the most mediocre of the shorts is still far and above, like in quality, very watchable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, yeah, I didn't like that one, but I'm still glad I watched it. That's not something to sneeze at. So,
but it's true. There's always, I mean, so in the past when we've looked at the audience choice ballots, like there's every single film is always somebody's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Like they always get like at least one 10 out of 10 rating for every short film we've ever shown, I think, or at least in past years when we've been like paying attention to all the ratings and like putting them in a spreadsheet so that we can actually see what's happening. So, and yeah, it's amazing the range of things that people like. So and we try to kind of take you on a journey within the film block, within the short film block. We try to give you a wide range of styles and subject matter and vibes with the film, so that it's not just all the vampire films together, or all of the Cthulhu films together. You get like a whole balanced meal out of them.
And I'm looking, it looks like none of them are older than 2019. So these are a lot of like people that have been like just within the last year or so have been making these short films, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of them have had to go through massive contortions and hurdles to try to film safely during COVID, and they've managed it. So we didn't know what we were going to get when we had the festival last year. We were like, what is 2020 going to look like? Is it going to be like a bunch of Zoom movies? Thankfully, it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a couple filmmakers tried that, and I'm glad it didn't really catch on.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I participated in the making of a short film last summer, and funnily enough, COVID is not the thing that shut us down. That all went like the management of like COVID safety guidelines actually went very, very smoothly. It was the main, like the lead actor got injured, like completely unrelated to filming. But they're keeping all the footage in a can, so it's they'll flesh it out for something else later, I think.
Maybe you will show up 25 years from now and they'll be able to wrap it up.
Oh, you're gonna see a lot of me if that comes out.
I meant like you would revisit 25 years later.
Maybe. No, I think they're actually working on like expanding it right now and like trying to use it for something. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about this film festival.
But it's hard. I mean, just the fact that people manage to finish a film of whatever length is just amazing to me, because of how much stuff goes into it. Like how many threads have to come together to make this like cohesive piece of work is just incredible. So the fact that we can provide a platform for them to show it to all of our audience is really great.
So say
I'm excited for these.
Yeah. So say people are listening to this podcast and like either they go in person to the festival or they watch it virtually and think like, I kind of want to do this. Like, would you have advice for like an aspiring new, Lovecraft or weird speculative fiction filmmaker? Like, where would you suggest they start? Like, if you had any suggestions or advice?
Start is to gather all your friends with any kind of talent and make them help you.
That is the hardest part, I think.
It's so hard. Like there's so many things you don't think about. And if you can find someone who's worked on a movie or done a movie before, rope them in, pick their brain, ask them for advice. If I was gonna try to make a short film, I think I would go on filmmaker forums of any kind, like short film filmmaker forums, and just kind of see what people are talking about and ask questions and interact with other filmmakers. Most people are pretty willing to give you advice, at least to steer you in the right direction, so that you don't make the same like horrible mistakes they made.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that it's one of those industries where new people always think they have to remake the wheel, and
Yeah.
they don't. There's a lot of filmmaking that is just do step A, B, C, D, E. If you want to get inventive, that's on the story. That is
Right.
a specific shot or a character or the concept behind it. But all the practical stuff, it's people know how to do that. Just do that. Yeah.
And there's, I mean, just for very basic things like how do I light this shot? Like how do I set up lighting for a shot? There's YouTube videos that you can watch for that.
There's so many now.
Resources. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think the biggest thing, like Cable said, the story is the key element. If people aren't interested in the story, you can have like the best looking film that was ever made, but if there's no story or substance behind it,
We call that sucker punch.
Yeah.
Oh,
oh, sorry. Was that out loud?
I was trying to think of something. I had one, but that's it.
It tries so hard, though. It tries really hard.
Yeah.
It did try really hard.
and you gotta give him points for that.
I'm out.
Do I?
No, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Gwen, you and I don't know each other that well, so maybe this is like a silly question to anyone who's a little bit more familiar with you, but the way you phrased something earlier made me think, or made me curious. Have you ever made a short film yourself?
So I've been in short films. So let's see. What was the first one? My friend Dave, who's actually staying with us right now, shot a short film for the 48-hour film contest in New Orleans, like, gosh, back in like 2003 or 2004 or something like that. And I was aware that he was doing it, and I was like doing t-shirt printing stuff or whatever, and he called me at like 10 in the morning and was like, hey, can you help me with this film? Like, I need you to be a stripper. And I was like, okay. I actually have to strip? And he's like, no, you're just going to be playing the character. I'm like, okay, all right, how long, like when do you need me, and like how long do you think it's going to take? And he's like, can you be here at like 11 a.m.? I'm like, okay. And it's like, he's like, just a couple hours. So I show up at 11 a.m. and didn't finish until like 9 p.m. But it was really fun. Like I didn't realize I was like one of the characters. There's like 4 characters in the film, and I was one of them. And then I had to come back in the morning to do some voiceover stuff for them. But that was a long time. And then me and Brian were in one of his second entry the next year. And then Brian and we've been making our own Kickstarter videos from the beginning, like filming it and trying to figure out how the lighting is and making sure that we're not wearing like loud prints or anything that's gonna like make the camera freak out, and discovered that like shooting against the red burgundy curtains in our living room is not the best idea because that doesn't look good on film. And 2019, I think we made a little short film called The Thing That Should Not Be Named or something like that. It was a riff on the unnameable. And so for our Kickstarter video, and people can go back and look at it from 2019, our Kickstarter videos starts with a little short film of like me and Andrew in the cemetery, and I'm telling him the story of like the window that held the impression of something horrible because something horrible happened in the house. And it ends with a very funny scene of Brian, but people should go look at it. But that's the extent of my experience. It's all like I can frame the shot and then I you know, get in front of the camera and talk. Brian does all the editing and color correcting and putting the music in there and all that stuff. So I don't really have a handle on like any of like linear editors or anything like that. So
Well, you've done the acting, and acting is hard.
it is. You have to, because you don't really know unless you've done it enough to know like where you need to put your body or like how close together people need to be in the shot to make it look natural. It's weird because like I'm sitting next to Andrew and it feels like we're really close, but when you look at it on film, it looks fine. Like it looks normal. Although I will say when we watch TV shows sometimes and they're talking, you're like, oh my God, like how are they're like this close to each other? And you're like,
yeah.
how are you like spitting on him?
Sometimes they are.
Like I don't, you can see like little flecks and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not natural.
Ew.
So it all kicks off this Friday.
7 p.m. I think the doors are opening for the theater at like 5:45 or 6 o'clock. And get there a little early because there tends to be a line on opening night. If you haven't bought your tickets in advance, I highly recommend it, because if you buy your tickets in advance, you can just you can flash the QR code at the box office. They'll check your vaccine card and they'll wristband you up and then you can go inside.
Nice.
Oh, also, don't forget your vaccine card.
Yes.
Vaccine, can people have like digital versions of their card too?
Yeah,
I know a lot of, that's what
it can be the actual card, a very clear photo of the front and back, or a digital, I think a digital record, as long as it's like, as long as the theater staff can look at it and be like, okay, they can see that you've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And if people have questions about that though, they should ask the theater. They should email the Hollywood Theater or give them a call.
And I think in the past few months I've gone to 2 movies at the Hollywood, and it felt, they're doing a really good job at the Hollywood Theater, keeping everybody spaced and checking everything. So I feel like it's as always, the perfect venue for the festival. So
I'm excited because this is going to be my first time back at the Hollywood and my second theater experience this year. So
oh my gosh,
same.
Nice.
Oh, I was trying to remember. I think I went and saw one movie in the theater before Portland Horror happened, and I haven't been to a theater since because I haven't had time. But I went to see Raya and the Last Dragon, which was amazing.
That's such a good one.
Me and my friend were like the only 2 people in the theater.
It's a pretty good theater experience.
Yeah.
We all went to go see Shang-Chi opening weekend for that.
Nice.
Worth it.
There's a list of things to catch up on after we get through the festival.
Right. You're kind of full speed and still a few days after, right? Because there's always like the post-mortem, the cleanup, and then you get to shut down.
But then we also have the streaming festival next weekend.
Oh,
So you've got a while.
So I'm occupied until the 10th. But the streaming festival is going to go live Friday afternoon with some streaming exclusive content's going to launch first. And then it's going to follow the same schedule as the live show. So like all the films will be in the same days. They'll be on the same days. And you sell day passes because it's a festival. Like if you just want to watch a movie, you can just rent it on Amazon or whatever. But like come to this with the open mind of like, I'm going to see a bunch of stuff that I'm probably never going to be able to see again. And then we also have filmmaker Q&As where people can jump on the HP LFF Discord server and ask questions, and we'll see them. We'll ask the filmmaker questions while we're live, and there's extra content. We're going to have some panel discussions that are also broadcast over Zoom, and some more author readings on Zoom. And once we're still in the process of scheduling those, making sure that everyone's like able to be there at the same time. Some of them might be pre-recorded, but all that will go live on a rolling schedule. But then everything will stay available until 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, October 12th, Pacific time. so that if you have to work during the day on Saturday, you can still buy Saturday's pass and watch part of it that night, and then you'll have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to finish watching it.
Well, that's nice.
Nice.
Very
That
cool.
can be like really tricky with like streaming from home. It's still technically on a schedule, so
it'll be,
Nice.
if you want to follow kind of the festival schedule, we recommend that people kind of do it at when it's released so that they can catch the Q&As afterwards as they're happening. But not everyone cares about the Q&As, and they just want to watch all the films, so they can do that too. But for us, what makes it a festival is like being able to actually talk to the filmmakers afterwards and get a little more insight on their process and their, some of the choices they made in the film, and just what inspired them to make it the way that they did.
Right.
It's just always fun for me anyway, because I get to talk to them.
I think that those are valuable if you are a process nerd,
Mhm.
or if you are someone who is dreaming of making their own short film.
Definitely.
For sure.
Sorry, Cable, I cut you off.
No, that's all right. I was just going to mention that some of the folks in the chat were also talking about that they're excited that the authors are getting Q&As, and that other folks are getting Q&As, so that other people are also excited who aren't just us about all this additional content and all of these different aspects of the film fest that I think folks who have gone just truly love. So
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we thought about doing a secondary, trying to get a secondary venue, but because the Hollywood Senior Center is, they just underwent some major renovations, and I'm not sure that they're really ready to be open for rental events again, because their population's at risk, and though everyone's vaccinated, it's still a whole other thing that they have to deal with that they don't normally deal with. And we wanted to kind of keep it contained to just one venue so that there's less vectors coming in from outside. So we're not having the meet and greet at Sam's because it's too open. Like if it was just a venue where just festival people were able to go, I would feel more comfortable with it. But I don't feel good about just telling people like we're having an official event at this venue that we don't have any
control over
how they operate.
Any control. Yeah.
I think that's more than reasonable.
Yeah, Sam's is still great, and if people want to go, if they feel comfortable going, to a bar and having food and drink beforehand, it's always, it's right down the street. It's always been a great place. They've always been good to us.
Yeah, Sam's has always been great.
Nothing against Sam's. I would have chosen Magnolia, but I think they're gone now.
They closed, yeah.
Magnolia's is one of the very last places I went to before the pandemic, like before the first shutdown.
Oh.
So I guess I'm glad I got that last chance in.
Yeah, that's such a great space that they created.
And of course I was there because I just come out of the Hollywood. So.
I think the Moon and Sixpence is doing a really good job of making sure people are safe in their place also. So there's that one. And
they have that whole back patio, which is nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there is.
So it's outdoors and a little less of a hot box of people's breath.
That's true.
And
other people's breath will never be less gross than it has been in the last 18 months. Like,
nope.
I don't mind like wearing I have enjoyed for the last 2 years not having a cold.
Yeah. It's been really nice.
Now it's only my allergies that are killing me.
Yeah, can't do anything about that.
Nope. For that you must suffer.
I believe too. I believe that the weather this weekend is supposed to be sunny and 80 again, so perfect for sitting out at a back patio in the evening after the fest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say perfect for being inside.
I know,
It is
I
also
haven't-
perfect for being inside
I
and
haven't
watching
looked at the
movies
weather
all day
forecast
long.
recently, but I was like, I had seen that it was supposed to be overcast, but not raining. Overcast
Yeah.
is fine. Just don't rain.
Yeah,
I mean, if my choices are hot sun or like chilly with rain, I'll take the rain any day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's supposed to be like partly cloudy, but
Yep,
very little chance of rain.
it's reasonable.
Good.
That's perfect. I love some overcast.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we can work with that for sure.
Oh man. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I know. I feel like we should let you. I feel like we should let you get back to it a little bit here.
I'm okay. We just did our tech run through at the theater, and
Ooh.
like I gotta print some shirts, but nothing. I'm good. It's all good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I forgot to tell you that's important about the festival.
You want to run off those websites and like where to go for what real quick?
Yeah. So for the in-person festival, go to the Hollywood Theater website, which is Hollywood Theater with THEATRE.org. And I think it defaults to the coming soon page. And if you just scroll down, you'll see the full festival pass entry, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you can only come one day, you can buy a single day pass, or you can buy the full festival pass. You save some money if you're coming all 3 days. Just get the full festival pass. It's totally worth it. And then if you want to stream at home, you can go to hplfilmfestival.eventive.org. And to find the information on both of those things, you can go to hplfilmfestival.com and then click on the Portland, Oregon portal. And everything is right there for you. All the options are there.
Don't go to the Rhode Island one. That's far away.
Right.
Yeah. So the Portland, Oregon
I mean-
portal.
I mean, if you live in that area, then by all means go to the Rhode Island link. But
And then go back in time to August 20th, because that's
Right.
when this one happened.
Right.
okay, so definitely don't
And
go
then
to the
time
Rhode
travel.
Island link.
But I think there's a short URL that's hplff.com/pdx. That's probably a little easier to remember.
I would be sure to link everything on the site and all that stuff too, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Oh,
I mind you.
That's a nice kid. Oh.
Like that sweet face.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, there's we'll be updating the festival website with if anything when the streaming stuff all like kind of gets settled out and confirmed, and the panels and readings and things like that. And right now the schedule and films for the in-person event are pretty finalized. Like all that information should be up there. We also have a Facebook event. If you just go to the HPL Film Festival page and the event is linked on there, there's a discussion group that you can look at, and we try to update that as well. Post pictures, and you can chat with other people on there. And I'll probably throw the Discord server invite in the Facebook event too, so that people can
cool.
join in the chat.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any other questions or anything I'm not
I think
thinking of?
we covered a lot of it here. I'm just excited to be back. It's been a few years since I've been able to attend, so.
This is
Mhm.
actually going to be my first, so I'm like super excited.
Oh yeah,
for,
nice.
For one reason or another, I've just never made it to one before. I think I almost went 1 year, but then I probably had to work or some dumb shit like that. So I'm pleasantly unemployed right now, and really excited to be there for all of it this year.
I have not attended in person the entirety that I've worked at Guardian Games.
Oh.
So and I think I hadn't made it the years before, so I think it's been at least 10 years since
wow.
I've been.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's different.
Big old milestone for us.
This one will be more like how you remember like 2002.
That'll be
That'd be
great.
kind of cool though.
Yeah. Oh God, I think that might have been when I started going. Yeah, I think so. I think that 2001, 2002. Yeah.
That's about when I started going too. So I'm super jazzed to be there again.
So for many reasons, this is like the perfect year for all three of us to finally be going to this thing together.
Yeah.
That's super exciting.
Nice.
Very nice. I think it's a good introduction for if you're a first timer. You know, over the years it has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and like more and more programming, and we always want to do more and do bigger and better things, but it can be overwhelming if you're not used to that kind of thing. So if people have been hesitant to go before because they just feel like they would be overwhelmed, this is a really good year to go, to get your feet wet and kind of get your bearings while you're in there. Because it is going to be, you know, just one track, not as many people, and it'll be a good way to ease into the HP Lovecraft Film Festival experience.
Great. I know
Nice.
I've seen at least one person in the chat who said that they will be there that weekend, so.
Awesome. Yay.
Very exciting.
I'm sure it feels nice to get back in the theater with the festival also.
It does. Portland Horror was amazing. It was not super full, but it was so nice to be just in a group of people that were all there for the same thing, that all love horror movies and independent horror movies, and just seeing everyone's faces and, like, you know, the top half of their faces, but like, oh my god, this is what I've been missing, you know, like,
yeah,
having like Brian and I have it pretty good because we live together and work together anyway, and so our day-to-day life didn't change all that much during the pandemic, but there was a mental shift in, like, you know, we're always at home anyway, but now I can't go see people if I want to, and now I can't do this thing, and now, like, because of, you know, masking and vaccinations and everything, now we can do this thing, and it was just really nice to get out and, like, just see people again.
Yeah, I remember thinking, like, well, I already work from home, so it's not going to be that bad, but it's like when it's your choice to stay home and not be around people, it's great, but when all of a sudden you can't, you're like, well, this sucks.
Well, and you learn that you're, like, much more of an extrovert than you realized.
Boy, howdy did I.
And I learned that I'm much more of an introvert than I realized.
Which is weird.
I know, right? I mean, not to say that, like, I don't still yearn for you know, like, time with the people I'm close to and care about, but I, like, for me, it just has made those times that much more fulfilling. Like,
yeah.
I overtly value them more because I realize that, like, oh, sometimes you can't have that.
Whereas I feel like I just learned that I did have more patience to lose with people.
Yay!
And then I did. And I'm like, oh, okay. I apparently could put up with a little more bullshit than I thought I could. And now, no.
Oh, the joys of retail.
Oh.
It's good that you found your bottom.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, yes. Yeah, no, Aaron's right. The joy of retail.
Oh gosh. I'm continually amazed by some of the stories I hear from friends who are, like, baristas and retail workers and waiters. Just it's just incredible.
The fact that people don't put the two and two together and just, like, your service is poor because you treat people like shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the other way around.
Yeah.
No one ever wants to look at the common denominator in their problems.
Right?
No,
It
it's
is really
always
hard to get people to realize that takes a certain level of self-awareness that, man, if we could vaccinate for that, there'd still be half of the country that wouldn't take it.
I mean, if I thought I was at least 60% of the problem, I wouldn't want to look through that door either, I guess. I don't know.
It's never your fault. It's always
60% is pretty generous there, Bean.
Generous or not enough?
Not enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Being kind to the person.
Yes. Yeah.
I just always assume it's my fault, and therefore guaranteeing that I will spend the rest of my life waking up at 1 a.m. thinking, Man, that shit that I did in 8th grade, I bet they still hate me for it.
Yep.
And this goes back to our conversation from the beginning of the episode where I'm like, no, I'm doing just fine with my like middle-aged white man sense of confidence.
Yeah. To have the confidence of a mediocre white man. Yep.
If only we could.
And I sleep great.
No, I'm like, I wish I could, man.
Yes. The chat agrees that my math is bad on that. I'm guessing I was being too small on the number there.
I think maybe they thought you were being hard on yourself.
Well, no, but that was just as a hypothetical. Like if I thought that I was at least 60% of the problem, I wouldn't want to like.
I mean, you're a solid 20.
Yes, I will agree that I'm at least 20% of my problems. Done.
Oh, man.
As long as you recognize that with any problem that you encounter, that you are part of that and can find and own the part that where it's like, all right, I'm being unreasonable about this specific thing, or I'm causing this part of this problem, then that at least means that you can counter that. Everything else is on everybody else.
I'm having a laugh, just trying to decide. I'm like, do I acknowledge when I'm the problem? I'm sure I do.
I think that's where it's like maybe 20% of the time you don't. But that means 80% of the time you do. Versus the other way around, which is I think what we're kind of looking at.
Right.
Americans as a monoculture, they're about 80%.
By the way, that
this is not my fault.
I'm gonna argue that like I don't think I have that many problems in life. Like in the grander scheme of things, I think I've got it pretty good. Like, do I have a job right now? No. And is that great? No. But am I okay? Yes. And that's like the worst thing I've got going on right now. And I'm like forever grateful that like I've never had it that bad. So I mean, what is that? Is that like the fact that like maybe I don't cause a lot of my own problems? Or is it just luck? Who the fuck even knows?
I would say a large part of that being adults has to do with the decisions that we make. And a lot of adults make very poor decisions. So,
yes. And I would like to think that I make fewer and fewer bad decisions with every year that, that passes me by.
But the ones you do make, you really make them count.
Yes, absolutely that. If I'm going to fuck it up, I'm going to fuck it up good.
Yeah.
But enough about me. Let's talk about Gwen's problems.
I was just observing that we just rewatched The Good Place because I don't know, like everything, all the news and politicians and everything. I was like, I need something to restore my faith in humanity. So we rewatched The Good Place, and a lot of times I'm just like, that's a Brent. You're a Brent. That's another Brent. Be more like Eleanor.
But what's really tough is when you have a Derek. Because what do you do with a Derek?
You gotta kill him.
You came to that answer way too easily.
Push the reset button so that he evolves. He evolves.
No. I tend to agree with just throwing a Molotov cocktail at it just makes everything better.
No, it doesn't make everything better.
It does make it better.
When you throw a Molotov cocktail on a problem that you have, it gives you a different problem.
Yeah, but the old problem's gone.
Yes. Wisdom from Jason.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that show, I will still catch myself just randomly yelling Bortles as I leave a building.
I mean, is there what else? What else is there?
Yeah, that's it.
Mostly I find myself quoting Sheedy's line of like, yeah, but that's worse, right? You get how that's worse.
Oh yeah.
That and Jeremy Bearimy.
Bear me.
Like people will just like, when did this happen? How did this happen? Jeremy bear me. What?
Yeah.
It's the dot on the I. It's Tuesdays and autumn. And sometimes holidays.
My big hang up with that show is that Kristen, what's her face's character?
Eleanor.
Kristen, Eleanor. Eleanor is from Phoenix / Scottsdale, and so am I. And I really resent when I relate to her as a character. Like for a number of reasons, but also just like innocuous stuff. Like, who doesn't love a bunch of shrimp?
And you do that, by the way.
I do what?
When you see a plate of like shrimp, I've seen you do it. I've seen you like walk like, oh, shrimp.
Oh, shrimp.
And you'll load up on them.
And so like there you have the concept of Eleanor is this juggle of like recognizing that you are Arizona trash, but also a total snack sometimes. I just wanted to compliment myself, you guys. It's fine. We can move on.
It's fine.
We can move on.
You're a total snack. There you go.
Agree.
It took a weird turn, as it often does.
Well, the good place will do that. The good place will do that.
That's true.
We've also had a lot of wine tonight, so
How very un-Eleanor of you.
Shocking.
It should be margaritas.
That's true.
True. But I didn't have the stuff for margaritas. So.
But you are drinking from a mason jar.
Irma.
That's pretty Eleanor,
Are
right?
you drinking wine with a straw out of a mason jar?
Shut up. So what? No, I'm not.
That's 100% on brand for her, by the way.
Yeah, that was not a jealous question. That wasn't a judgy question. That was a why am I not?
Yes, like why have I never thought of that? Because
Yes, Gwen, hello, nice to meet you. This is my favorite drinking vessel. It is a
Because then when
Joe's
you're done,
Crab
you can
Shack
use them.
mug.
save it for
I
later.
own 4 of them.
Nice. Oh, I should have brought my mug. We went to Fred Meyer and we walked in and we're like, oh my God, there's Halloween stuff. And they were kind of cleaned out, but they had 4 of these glass skull mugs, like clear glass, like coffee, like heavy coffee mugs. In them.
Ooh.
Like ceramic coffee
They're
mugs.
in my kitchen now.
Nice.
Eric had one of those for years as her go-to coffee mug.
Good mug.
I put a strawberry smoothie in it the other day. I'm like, ooh, that's nice and gory looking.
It was bleeding.
Nice.
I have this amazing Witch's Cauldron coffee mug, but it is entirely too small. It's not even like a full cup of coffee. It's annoyingly small.
Tell me the volume of that mug, because I actually have Witch's Cauldron shaped coffee mug as one of my ceramic ideas, but too small is a problem that I come across. So
I would say its volume is maybe 6.5 ounces. It's not even 8
that's
ounces.
that's way too small.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
small.
Yeah. No, but like give me like the dimensions, because I don't know how to like make a ceramic item for volume. I only know how to make it for square inches.
Oh, I don't know. Small.
So tell me the square inches of your mug.
Figure out the math for her. That's what she say. Do
Yeah,
the math.
no, I'll get my
or bring me the mug and I'll just do the math myself.
This is just a ploy for you to get this mug because I bought it at Target last year and I took a picture of it and you said, I want one of those.
I do want one of those, which is why I want to make one. But now I have context of like, well, here is one, but it's too small.
All right.
Okay, so here's what you do. You take the mug that you like to drink out of because it holds enough. You put rice in it. And then you take a baggie or something and put the rice in the bag. And then when you're making the cauldron mug, you use the rice in the bag to make sure that there's enough volume inside.
Gwen, you just blew my mind.
Oh my God.
This is why she runs a film fest and we don't.
No, you just solved like 40% of my pottery problems right now.
But Cable's right. It's why she runs film festivals and we run a free podcast.
But that's also like a resin casting trick. So someone taught me that, like, you get your container with your thing that you're going to cast and then you fill it with rice to figure out how much resin you need to make to fill the space.
No, that's fucking
I'm
brilliant.
like, oh my
Gwen.
god, that's amazing. That's brilliant.
I have to remember that. I'm gonna write that down.
That's an amazing idea.
Just use rice. It fixes everything.
Rice
Good for
does
everything.
fix everything.
It dries your phone out.
Curry too spicy? Just eat more rice.
Yes.
Mhm.
Salt for pumping.
That's awesome.
When you're hungry, you eat it.
Problem solved.
Woo!
You need
Alright.
dessert? Soak some rice.
Right? Add like a bunch of milk and sugar to it.
It's insane, man.
Mm.
Well, now I'm hungry.
Yep. Yep.
This
on
happened
that
last
note-
time on the show too.
We were talking potatoes last time.
I know it became baked potato fest last week. Now
But
it's gonna
not
become rice
molasses.
time. No.
Yeah, right.
Potatoes and molasses. Way to
Well-
bring it back all the way around to the beginning, Bean. Well done.
Was that at the beginning? That's fine.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Winning.
On that note, I think I'm going to
Yes,
exit the
yes.
chat so that I can go finish.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to wrapping up anyway here. So
So,
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Gwen.
Thanks,
for
Gwen.
having me. It's
yeah.
and
really fun to talk to you guys. Yeah.
you'll get to talk to us all weekend long because we'll see
Yay.
you there.
We'll be there.
Thank you.
More
for
more of this.
everyone watching. I'm Gwen. When you see me at the festival, come say hi. You can talk to me. People are always like, "You look so busy," but if you know, like I'm always up for chatting with people. So
Nice.
That's great
And
to
also,
know.
listen to the show. Say hi to us too. I don't want to get the emails like a week later. Like I saw you at Lovecraft, but didn't want to bug you.
Always
Yeah.
with the after.
They remember the rules.
Yeah.
No lurking. Come say hi.
kickers.
Yeah, lurking's
I mean,
creepy.
you guys
Hey.
wouldn't be broadcasting the video part if you didn't want people to A, know who you are, and B, tell you that they know who you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Isn't
Yeah.
that the whole point?
Exactly.
No one, Gwen, no one does what we do if we don't want attention in the outside
Right.
world and validation. Please, for the love of God. That's
Exactly.
all we have.
Come tell me what a snack I am. Whatever.
Offer her some shrimp.
There we
Definitely.
go.
Well, no. You know what? If we've been in a theater all day and then you offer me some shrimp,
Don't do that.
don't do that. Don't do that.
What's the over under that Zach's going to bring a thing of like canned shrimp and be like,
You know what? I will never say no to a gift from Zach because Zach is a really good gift giver, but B a really great person. So
and slightly broken, so he's our type.
I mean, like, I'm not going to promise I'll eat it if he gives me like a sack of shrimp at the end of a film festival. I will quietly not eat it, but I will still appreciate it, and that's what matters, right?
But if it's canned, you can just put it in your purse, have some purse shrimp for later on.
Oh, I mean, I'll take a can of anything.
All right, Gwen, we should let you go.
I'm just
Right.
like thinking about like, please don't bring unopened like.
don't bring shrimp.
Please don't bring
No one bring any shrimp.
Peter.
Do not bring shrimp.
Yeah, don't ruin it for Gwen, you guys.
Don't
Yeah.
ruin it. Save the shrimp for the cocktails.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Gwen.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for popping in. It was great to see you again. We will see you this weekend.
Yep. Take
All right.
care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
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 That was fun.
I have like gone over a cliff of goofiness, you guys.
Well, you know what? This is the perfect
Really?
time before we wrap up to
I hadn't
thank,
noticed.
I'm sorry.
thank
I guess
to thank Asylum.
Yes, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Asylum.
yeah. It's a great time to do that.
So I got a really nice email from Anton
Mm-hmm.
a few days ago. He and Deb are super happy to be back with Geek and City Radio, and we're happy to have them back. And then he was horrified to remember that they started a website 3 years ago and never finished it. So don't go to that website. It's 3 years old. Just go to facebook.com/PDX Asylum. I also got their days open wrong. So they are only open Friday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Those are their regular walk-in hours. But you can contact them through their Facebook page and set up an appointment also if you have a different day you would like to go there. Anton said they actually do a pretty fair amount of appointments because a lot of people just still aren't comfortable shopping, which they understand. But they are totally fine with appointments. So
So should the appointments happen outside of their like their current standard hours, or
think
will they actually?
No, I don't. I believe they will not close their store for the appointment. It's if after their outside standard hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the appointments are for. Is we're open to the public these days, and then we schedule appointments on these days, so that way you can have your own shopping experience unencumbered with the general public.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I want
if
to
I were in the market to buy a lot of furniture, that is how I would do it. That way I can just go in and take my time looking at the pieces that I want, and then just buy the pieces that I want.
Exactly.
Yep. Without having to wait for Bill and Linda to get the hell out of the way.
I was gonna say
they've been standing in front of
aristocrat.
Hmm?
I was gonna say like a New York aristocrat.
Oh,
What the hell is a New York aristocrat?
I think I just made up. Rich New York people who, can do things like close a place down to view the selection and buy things at will without the common folk coming around.
Yeah, those people don't live in New York proper. They live in upstate New York and fly into New York City when they want something.
I don't know. I watch a lot of movies.
But you don't have to fly in from New York. You can go to 3713 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard across from Baghdad Theater.
And you don't have to be an aristocrat either.
Heck no. In fact, they'd rather not cater to aristocrats.
Yeah. Be regular folk and go to Asylum where you can find amazing things and buy them without being stupid rich.
Yeah. I almost said the aristocrats. I guess you can go there too if you're them. Just leave your act at home.
Yeah, don't make that joke at Asylum, please.
Aristocrat.
I mean, I feel like if you just walked in and said, "And we're called the aristocrats," like I think Anton might enjoy that. He might
just
be like,
that part though, just the punchline.
Yeah,
not the setup. Don't take the setup to the aristocrats and try to do it at Asylum.
Look at that, Anton and Deb. It only took the second commercial for me to say something awkwardly inappropriate. You're welcome.
3713 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard.
Yeah, when you go in there, thank them for coming back to wrap up the year. They're with us through December, which is pretty awesome because it's coming into that gift giving time. So yeah, check them out. They have a lot of great stuff. Some of their posts that are older, I don't know how many of these things they still have in stock, but I'm still eyeing those tumblers because I'm still looking for those classy like whiskey tumblers and stuff. So definitely going to be all over that. Those
stemless wine glasses that just roll around.
Yeah, and they also, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have small little desktop size fireplaces. And I keep thinking of getting one for my office just so I can have a desktop fireplace.
That sounds classy as hell.
Hell yeah, it does. So I'm writing my goofy funny books. I can look classy doing it. 3713 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard.
Right across the street from the Baghdad Theater.
That's right.
I want to respond to the chat real quick.
About shrimp?
About shrimp and shrimp adjacent items. I will not accept ham flavored candy canes.
I don't know why
nor will I accept turkey and stuffing flavored candy corn. There were more. I feel like there were more. I will accept a gift card for endless shrimp at Red Lobster.
That shrimp.
And yes, me with a mug of soda wine is peak bean. And the only thing I have to say for myself is I am
out of wine.
Deep into unemployment, and sometimes that just means drinking inappropriately.
I thought you were going to say, so if you want to hire someone who only drinks out of Joe's Crack Shop Mason jars, I'm your gal.
I like how this just suddenly became the bean
That would make
show.
me hire you if I had the finances to do it. How's that?
I mean, that's been established. That's fine. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I am making it the bean show. I think that's just like I think that's just like evidence that like when I get drunk, it's all about me.
It's less work for me. I also suggest that one of those weekends one of the days that we're at Lovecraft, we go to the Moon and Sixpence because I have been jonesing for a Welsh rarebit for almost 2 years.
Yes, absolutely that.
I had already assumed that we're going out every night.
Yeah. That's my last bachelor weekend, so.
And that like I figured I thought originally that it was going to start at 1:00 on Friday as well, which I took the day off. I'm still taking the day off, so fuck it.
Oh shit. We could do fun daytime
you
stuff.
want to have your free rest before the party weekend?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Was
that way you don't have to rally as hard.
Mm-hmm.
You're already primed for it.
Yeah, like again, bear in mind, I'm 50. So
you can do it.
I am not trying to live like I'm still in my 30s.
Or that
it's
you're
not
Denise.
happening.
I am still in my 30s.
You know what I mean? I did pick up maybe Friday afternoon.
Pick up what?
I did get a copy of the new Horrified.
Oh.
Yeah, with
right.
Go on.
The mythological creatures.
On sale at Target.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the Target one.
No, I know. It's not you. It's Target and Walmart and Amazon, and they insist on making deals with all of these game companies so that they get exclusives before companies who just make a living selling games.
Well, now I feel bad.
No, don't. You're fine.
It's the one I didn't want to wait for.
I don't blame you. Like, if I could walk into Target and get my same discount that I get at Guardian, I would buy it.
That's true.
I'm not going to. So
that's like, also where I took the picture of the Gargoyles game and sent to Bean. I don't know how it plays, but it's the same company.
Oh, Ravensburger?
Ravensburger, yeah.
Ravensburger also made your Jaws game. So
yep, which is super fun.
Ravensburger's licensed property games have been fairly solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're out of this world, but it also means like whoever's putting those together realizes that they're working with a licensed property, so they have to make sure that the game is accessible, complex but not complicated, and there's replayability in it. Otherwise, they're not going to sell those games. That's why Jaws is a fun game. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but I imagine their Jurassic Park game plays similarly.
Mm-hmm.
Why Horrified is so, like, it's not a complex game, or it's not a complicated game, but it's really fun to replay, and it's really fun to play with one player. The one that I haven't tried out is the Wonder Woman and the Challenge of the Amazons.
So a friend of mine that hopefully one day we'll find timing to get her on the show, Kennedy Allen. She's a co-host at Women at Warp, and used to be when Black Tribbles was a thing. She's one of the co-hosts there. She picked that up and sent me a pretty nice, started talking about it, and she was really impressed with that game. But it was really fun. It was a really well done game. So
it looks pretty, and it has I think it's Jenny Frisson artwork on the cover. Yep. Which, and then Jenny Frisson's artwork is gorgeous.
I don't know why, because I know I didn't order it. Maybe I'm on like a weird comp list for Wizards, but I got both of the commander decks for the new Innistrad, like in generic cardboard boxes.
Ooh.
Like not the fancy packaging you see in the stores.
Yeah.
It was a square, like a cube cardboard box that just had Wizards of the Coast, plain writing, opened it up, and it was like the cards were wrapped up and the counter and the rule book. I got Coven and the Undead one. So I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, so those are for Midnight Hunt, and then there are two more coming for Crimson Vow, which comes out in November.
They're very pretty cards.
Yep. Hi. Why are you...
So I'm excited to try Commander format. I've never played it before.
Wait, you've never played Commander?
No, I quit playing Magic altogether for like the last 5 years or so. So I've never played Commander.
Okay. Bean, have you played Commander? You've played Magic, yes?
I've played Magic, but it's been like 19 years.
I know we're going a little long now, and I'm sorry,
That's
but
okay. No, it's fine.
there's a reason that Commander is the big format, especially with casual players, because it allows you to draw. You can put together a deck from the length and breadth of the history of Magic. Like they're banned cards, of course, if you're playing in tournament play, but no one cares if you're playing casually with friends. Instead of the rule of 4, where you can only have up to 4 of any particular card that's not a non-basic land in a deck, it is a rule of 1. You can only have 1 of any particular card except for non-basic lands. And your deck also has to have a commander, and a commander is a legendary creature. That's those gold bordered ones.
Mm-hmm.
And
at least
whatever
2 colors.
Yeah. Pardon?
They have to be at least 2 colors too.
No, they can be mono.
Oh, they can? Oh, okay.
Yep. The deck itself can only be the colors of the commander. That's the rule. Right. So if it's a 5-color commander, sky's the limit. If it's a 1-color commander, then it's all that color. Like I have a goblin deck that is all red and the commander is Krenko. I have a 5-color sliver deck where the sliver queen is the commander. Ooh. See? That's where you can get really tribal with your decks and go nuts. Yeah. And it's designed for that.
And it's a 90 card deck, I think.
100 okay. Cards.
The one they sent me were 90 each.
Okay.
Maybe that's the minimum.
Yeah, probably.
I've also read that Commander has the most women players also. Maybe because it's casual and you're not dealing with, douches.
100%.
So yeah, I'm curious to try it. And I've read that like the more people playing in one Commander game, the more fun it is because it's kind of a free for all.
Yep. Wizards has also finally gotten to the point where they figured out how to make money on Commander. So that's one of the reasons why. They were losing money hand over fist on it because Commander is designed to play with your library of cards that you don't have to buy new cards for.
Oh shit, that's right. I could build just a ton of Commander decks.
Exactly.
I might do that soon.
I actually highly recommend, if you have a huge library of cards, build a shit ton of Commander decks and then sell them. Sell the rest of your bulk cards.
Maybe
donate them to.
I'd rather donate them.
Yeah, but you can easily do that.
Well, maybe we'll have a magic day or something.
Oh God.
Oh, you'd like it. You get pulled right back in.
I would love it, and that's why I'm like, oh God. Every time I think I'm out.
Commander, like you can buy the decks that he's talking about. Those are like $35-$40 retail.
Yeah. Or just go through mine. I have like 2,000 cards. You want to build a deck?
I went and retooled all of my old 60 card decks and turned them into Commander decks. So I've got like a dozen of them, and they're all tribal. Like it's vampires here, goblins there, slivers there. I think I turned my Oogie Boogie deck into a Commander deck.
My bugs.
Still love that.
Your Oogie Boogie deck?
Yeah, it was Aaron's idea. I have what's called a stuffy doll that represents Oogie Boogie. I have a witch, I have a vampire, and a witch, a skeleton, and a devil. And then all of the other creatures are bugs. All of the spells are chance based.
How did I not know about this? I love this.
Yeah. It's all black and green. It's goofy as fuck, but I love it.
Oh man, that's so good.
I am 100% subscribed to this concept.
Yep.
All right. Then we're definitely doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We should wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Because I am craving another tasty adult beverage. So
go see HP Lovecraft Film Fest if you're in town, or watch it online next week. And next week we're talking to Tom and Ed from Hour to Midnight Escape Room Games, where we'll talk about what we did this last weekend.
Right. Man, it's as if we always come into our own this month.
Right?
It's like October is our true form.
It's like the fall just plans itself.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true. A lot of work has gone into this, you guys.
Yeah. We actually, ironically, end up putting probably more work and planning into our fall shows than the whole year.
It almost makes me wonder why we don't take the summer off like other podcasts. But it, a precedent has already been set.
We're
so-
damn fools.
Yeah. Those are
Well,
also podcasts that get paid.
Also that.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Vitarita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
And we will talk to everybody next week.
Bye, Irma. Bye, Booch.